Hello everybody and welcome to a quick live video. I am doing a bit of an experiment, which we will get to very soon. We do have a story to talk about though, and then the experiment will make sense. I'm involved in a long-running battle against YouTube. Either some sort of bug or possibly the darkest censorship. But anyway, before we get to all that about the experiment and everything, I'm going to talk to you about another revelation from these Lev Parnas tapes. So if you don't know, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman are the two individuals who have been working with Rudy Giuliani to push Marie Yovanovitch out of the whole thing and, get this investigation into Joe Biden. Well, Lev Parnas eventually turned on Rudy Giuliani and thus Donald Trump, more explicitly Donald Trump, and is now releasing information to potentially hurt him. Thank you, Gabby. Very nice of you. No. Everybody hit the like button. I will get to what the experiment is soon, but it does involve you having to hit the like button. Okay, so we've already gone through the get her out of there, about Yovanovitch from Trump, get her out of there, all that stuff. Yesterday, and we didn't get to it on the main show, which is really unfortunate. There was a bit from that tape of Donald Trump admitting that Bernie Sanders is the only potential VP nominee back in 2016 that he was actually afraid of, which is awesome. Go watch that live video if you want information about that. This is the stupidest thing that's come up so far on these Lev Parnas videos, but I do think it's interesting. And it's that Lev Parnas, we know that the reason he was sticking around Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump, putting all this money into the pro-Trump super PACs, was obviously for his own interests. And we've identified several of them. There was apparently one more, though, and it involved legalized marijuana. So he brings up the topic with Donald Trump back in, I believe it was April 2018, when they're having this dinner, and it's being recorded. He says, "Mr. President, have you thought about allowing banking in some of these states that allow cannabis?" And Trump responds with this. "You're talking about marijuana, right?" Yeah, it's cannabis. "Why? You can't do banking there?" Which, look, I'm not saying I expect Donald Trump to be up on all of the state-level concerns around marijuana legalization, but who has been following these battles in multiple states and doesn't know that one of the big issues that was sort of baked into legalization was making it sort of effectively impossible for financial services involving these new industries, which means that in a lot of cases they have to be cash-based. It's a huge problem. They can't get the bank loans and things like that to set up some new locations. These are huge issues, and he just totally over his head, has no idea that it's going on. That's not actually the big issue here, but I do think it's noteworthy. As I continue, there's an experiment going on. If you're just joining us now, please hit the like button. It is important that everyone hit the like button because we are testing something, which I'll get to. So they go on. He says, "I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, the banking troubles. Do you think the whole marijuana thing is a good thing?" To which Parnas says this, and I actually think it's pretty interesting. So he goes on to say that legal cannabis represents a tremendous movement and presents marijuana as a potential vote-getting issue among millennials for Republicans in the 2018 midterms, which were, upcoming at that point. And so here's the thing. Let's just pause right there. He says legal marijuana is the future, no matter how you look at it. So I think that Lev Parnas is 100% right there. And he's actually pretty right. It would be so easy. I understand there's concerns around, the alcohol industry, that they're putting money into trying to stop legal weed and all that. But for Republicans, they have so few ins to young voters. This is one thing that hypothetically they could do. And I understand that they've demonized marijuana forever. They still do it on Fox News and all of that. But I fully believe that they could turn on a dime on that issue. Fox News would totally support it. They would call it, an incredibly wise political strategy to make inroads into this group that traditionally is not very conservative and not very interested in Republican politicians. It would be a great idea. But then we're going to get to the stupid point. As I'm doing this, everybody, please hit the like button. There's 823 of you, so I expect at least 400 more likes at this point. Okay, so Trump says this. He's just been given potentially a percentage point of the youth vote. And he says, in Colorado, they have more accidents. It does cause an IQ problem. You lose IQ points. You lose IQ points. You start smoking and you become dumb. I would say that if there was not scientific research into that, that seems like a stupid hypothesis. Especially, if you have smoked marijuana or consumed edibles, something like that, and drank alcohol, Like, really, you think that that's the thing that's like damaging your brain, making you stupider over time? The issue, of course, is that there is tons of research that shows that that is not the case. Literally, the only study that I've been able to find that buttresses what Trump is saying to any extent is one study in New Zealand that shows that children who smoke marijuana like throughout their youth perform worse on tests, which is not the same thing as having a lower IQ, and potentially could be explained by the fact that throughout all of their schooling, they're spending all this time smoking marijuana. I'm just saying, I would expect a follow-up investigation to try to really say anything about that. But of course, he doesn't care about all of that. There are, so let's see, we've got results from the National Institute of Drug Abuse. It says recent results from 2 prospective longitudinal twin studies did not support a causal relationship between marijuana use and IQ loss. So it's just stupid. Now, what's interesting is that Don Jr., one of the dumbest people in America, he actually chimes in defense of marijuana. It says, between that and alcohol, as far as I'm concerned, alcohol does more damage. He's right. He's repellent in every way, but he is right. He specifically then turns to, you don't see people beating their wives on marijuana. I would argue that in the cases where an alcoholic is beating his wife, it's not the alcohol that's fundamentally to blame for that. I would say the individual, lots of other stuff around that is probably the issue. But I do agree that people tend to be calmed, not dulled mentally necessarily for marijuana, certainly not in some sort of long-term sense. And so, like, he's presented with the economic argument, he's presented with the sort of pragmatic political argument, and he counters with you lose IQ points. But it fits in with, you know, what he's been saying. You remember his thing about, like, you shouldn't exercise because it makes you less healthy, it drains your energy? Like, you die sooner because you have X amount of energy and you burn through it if you exercise. Man, the length some people will go to not go to the gym. But anyway, not the most important issue in the world, but what I think is that Lev Parnas, a guy who ended up doing a tremendous amount of damage to Donald Trump, he actually sort of teed up like that could have been a thing. That could have helped them a little bit in 2018. It could still help them in 2020. I don't expect them to do that. Because they're dogmatic in their thinking. Okay, so basically here's what's going on. We now, over the last 3 live videos that I have done on my phone, which is right here, every time we've hit 1,000 likes, it has broken. I am going with the theory that, although that makes no sense, there's nothing about hitting 1,000 likes that should break a stream, I am taking it for granted that that is actually what is happening. As I go through this theory, please hit the like button because we have to hit 1,000. We have to try this. Now, I have done research, and I have found at least one other YouTube streamer. I think he makes videos about like movies or anime or something like that, and he was doing videos about how his stream was crashing at 1,000 likes. In fact, he did a video where he filmed it happening at 1,000. Now, what I will say is, why I think that's happening is not what all of his supporters in his chat were saying. This is gonna, you can add this to the list of reasons why I will never be a successful personality or influencer, is because what you're supposed to do in this sort of situation is you're supposed to claim that the man is trying to take down your stream. And I swear to God, in his live chat, the reason they said it was crashing at 1,000 likes was that Disney was pissed off at him because he had been critical of The Last Jedi, and so they were trying to stop him from going viral. There was like comment after comment that it was like, freaking Disney, they've taken over Google and they hate you because you were honest about Rey and Rosemary Tran. Well, I got news for you, buddy. I love The Last Jedi. In fact, I just put it on my top 5 movies of the decade. And so why is Disney trying to stop me from going viral? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? But as a general thing, if you are a personality on the internet, you are always, always, always supposed to present yourself as the victim that everyone else is trying to stop. And by proxy, trying to stop your viewers too. It's us against all of them. Look, when that is the case, I will point it out. But I don't think that's what's going on right now. I don't think that Google is trying to stop me from going viral. Some people have said maybe it's a thing where if you hit 1,000 likes too soon, it triggers some sort of anti-bot thing. But I have a feeling that there are streams that are hitting 1,000 likes faster than mine. So I don't think that's it either. I do have a theory. It's stupid. But when I was watching that guy go through his experiment, He mentioned that the phone he had been broadcasting on was a Google Pixel 2 XL, which just so happens to be the phone that I was using. Now, I don't know why one particular phone model would break at 1,000, and in particular, if one was going to, you would expect it wouldn't be the phone made by Google, actually. But maybe that's what it is. And so that's the experiment I'm running right now. I am broadcasting on my iPad. That's why the audio is really bad. That's why the video is not particularly good. It's because I'm literally on a front-facing camera on an iPad. But that is my next test. Is it the device? I mean, there's a few confounding variables about iOS versus Android and stuff like that. I'm going to run multiple tests, but John Snyder, you broke my heart. The Last Jedi sucks. Think about it. Plots to nowhere. No, stop that comment because Google is going to shut us down if we attack The Last Jedi in the comments. I'm kidding. I really liked it. I don't know. It had what I want out of a Star Wars movie. It wasn't perfect. No Star Wars movie is, but I really like it. David Baker says, get yourself a phone case, John. Here's the thing. So Edwin over there, he doesn't use a phone case. And when he showed me his phone, I looked at it and I was like, wow, it's way smaller than mine. My case is really thick. Why do I go through my whole life with a case? And so I took it off. And I realized, you know what, all this fear that I have about dropping my phone and breaking it, like, why are we going to let that stop us from living our life? And then like 2 weeks later, I dropped my phone and I cracked it a little bit. So I've got mixed feelings about that whole thing. Anyway, we are at 995 likes, people. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. I want to see if it breaks. Can we break the... Wait, it says 1,000. Give it a minute. Okay. We're at 1,000. If you haven't already hit it, please hit it. I want to get us a little bit past it to see. There are a few other things that I'm worried about. 1.1. Google, what the hell? Have you somehow produced a phone that, by the way, I love this phone. It's old. This is the Google Pixel 2. There's the 4 out. I haven't upgraded this. But somehow on your own app, only your phone breaks? Is that seriously what's going on? Now, that's not the only explanation. This is an Apple iPad, which means it could be an iOS versus Android thing. It could be that I cracked my phone, but I don't know why that would affect 1,000 likes or whatever. Okay, anyway, thank you everybody for helping me with this experiment. It does appear that it might be the phone. I need to upgrade, I guess. Yeah, it's Y2K all over again. It doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing, if I update, I kind of want to get like the new Google Pixel, but now I'm worried, is it just going to crash again? And that's the thing too, almost always when we hit 1,000 likes on those streams, we were at like 3,100 viewers. I hope that that's not what it is. In which case this test would be invalid, but it doesn't look like we're going to hit that right now anyway. Okay, everybody, we've only got 11 minutes because of this experiment, but Emma Viglin's going to be joining me. We're going to be breaking down the news of the day. I've got a doctor who's going to be talking about the high cost of healthcare and all of that. We've got some of the latest on Trump's legal defense in impeachment. We've got this awesome Bernie Sanders ad that a fan of Bernie Sanders made, which is just great. We got so much. You're definitely not going to want to miss it. So become a member or watch on one of the linear services. We'll be coming up in just 10 minutes. I will see you then.